It seems like decades ago since the Chicago Bulls were sitting atop the NBA mountain and counting their championship rings. It seems that long ago because in fact, it's literally been that long since the Bulls have been relevant among NBA's elite. Gone are the days of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, of Phil Jackson and Tony Krause. The Bulls have been underwhelming, and for a long time now. Don't get me wrong, the franchise has seen the playoffs here and there, and even won a playoff series now and again since the 1998 championship. But it's been far too long since the Bulls have been realistic championship contenders in the association. Following the breakup of their best squad since their glory days, which included Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, and Joakim Noah, the franchise has undertaken a rebuilding direction that they hope can lift them to relevancy once again. Unfortunately for them, this path hasn't gone exactly to plan so far, as year after year they fail to bring in their next true franchise player. But before we jump in, please remember that if you've enjoyed the video thus far and can't wait to see why the Chicago Bulls should draft Deni Avdija, then please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons and make sure to tell your friends and family about the journey we are about to embark on. Their last franchise player was small forward Jimmy Butler, who ended up having a strange relationship with the front office's objectives. Before Butler, Derrick Rose was not only the Bulls' franchise player, but also one of the best players in the world. Rose went on to suffer career-altering knee injuries, and the franchise has never been the same since. Along the way, they have tried to bring in veteran talent to keep up with the competition. The likes of Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo made their way to Chicago, but these types of experiments were short-lived, as these once big names were on the back end of their careers. Currently constructed, the roster's best player is 25-year-old Zach LaVine, who has impressively played himself into one of the most underrated players in the association after arriving from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Outside of LaVine, the Bulls do have some young talent such as Kobe White, Lauri Markkanen, and Wendell Carter Jr., but it's evident they still need that one prospect to take the reins as the cornerstone for their future. Luckily for them, they have another chance to find that player in mid-October, as the 2020 NBA Draft will take place inside ESPN's facilities in Bristol, Connecticut. The Bulls have the number 4 selection on the evening, and will have a plethora of prospects that can join their roster. The name they should be targeting is European wonder kid Deni Avdija, who is the next international star ready to take the NBA by storm. Avdija was born in Beit Zera, Israel, but also has Serbian heritage. Son to former professional basketball player and famous coach Zufar Avdija, the 19-year-old played last season at international powerhouse Maccabi Tel Aviv in the EuroLeague. He has been on the NBA radar since he first played professionally at just 16 years old, but is now ready to join the best league in the world in the hopes of becoming the next star from abroad to make their mark on the league. Like emerging European superstar Luka Doncic, Avdija shares similar traits in playing style. His game is smooth and under control, and possesses the solid fundamentals that are commonplace with players from Europe. He has the ability to score from almost anywhere on the floor, and beats you with intelligence rather than natural speed, similar to Doncic. He may not be the best shooter in the draft, but he becomes an attractive asset with his extremely high basketball IQ that could put him over the edge in comparison to some American prospects coming out of college. He doesn't have quite the same passing ability as Doncic, which differentiates the two players, but his stock remains very high because he has a high floor and low ceiling in the league. Avdija will provide versatility in the NBA, as he can play both the small forward and power forward positions. Because of this, it's anticipated Avdija can carve out a long career in the NBA as a multidimensional contributor. Any team would benefit from a talented forward with legitimate size at 6'9", and many have compared him to former international player Hedo Turkoglu, who had a fantastic career in the association. Despite being relatively unknown in comparison to American-born and raised prospects, the extensive research on Avdija has also uncovered his intangibles as a locker room present and culture fit even at his young age. According to NBA writer Chris Fedor, Avdija is even more impressive when you dive deeper into his game. Avdija should be viewed as one of the frontrunners at this point. He's not only one of the top wings in his class, Avdija is tough, versatile, smart, and seasoned. He can guard 2s, 3s, and 4s. He's a point forward with excellent vision and an ability to make passes out of pick and rolls in the half court while also igniting breaks. Fedor also reported that the Bulls front office is leaning toward taking Avdija with the 4th overall pick. If they were to take him, Avdija could move into the starting lineup at the small forward position. Currently, that would mean Levine moving back to shooting guard to give the Bulls a starting lineup of either Kobe White or Thomas Staransky at point guard, Levine at shooting guard, Avdija at small forward, Lauri Markkanen at power forward, and Wendell Carter Jr. at center. It's likely if Avdija was brought in, he'd be competing for minutes with other small forward Otto Porter Jr. But the Bulls would likely give more minutes to Avdija as he is a long-term prospect and meaningful minutes would only aid his development. Either way, the Bulls organization has a very big decision to make next month. The player they do choose will directly affect their hopes of continuing on an upward trajectory towards becoming one of the very best teams in the Eastern Conference yet again. Avdija could be that guy, and the Bulls will not want to miss out on the league's next international star.